guys and girls, welcome back to the Small Engine Saloon. I'm Steve. I got to start off by actually apologizing to some of my subscribers out there. I've got lots of comments, private messages, emails from some of you saying, Steve, I've watched all your videos, I've tried everything, and my unit still won't run. Because of that, I realized that I kind of should have done this video a long time ago. Should have been one of the first videos that I ever did, actually, because one of the first things that almost every small engine mechanic I've ever worked with does this. And I suggest that you guys do this too, so you're not wasting any money putting a new carburetor on or something like that if your unit is just not worth fixing. You need to check the engine, piston and cylinder. When a small engine mechanic gets a work order on his bench, he goes, okay, my next job is, say, a chainsaw. He walks over to the shelf and he pulls the chainsaw off. As he's walking back to his bench to start working on it, he's already going like this. He's checking that for compression. If the mechanic feels anything when he pulls that cord that feels a little suspicious to him, where he goes, this does not feel like this has enough compression. The first thing that he's going to do is check the engine to see if this thing's even worth fixing or not. A mechanic does not want to waste his time or your money. That is a direct quote from Simon Morrison, small engine mechanic at Walker's Saw Shop, Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada, right there. Good advice. Nobody wants to waste their time or money. Check your engine. I'm going to show you how to do that right now before you actually do waste money buying a new carburetor or whatever, where your engine's still not going to run. You have to make sure your engine's in good shape. I'm going to show you how to actually check the compression properly with an actual compression tester right here. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly. If you want to actually have a compression tester, you don't have one, go back to my description in my channel. I got a link on there for you. Take you to a site where you could actually buy one of these things. These are not expensive, very handy tool to have around. I know that some of you don't understand what low compression may be when you pull that cord for your unit. A small engine mechanic does this 10 times a day, every day, day after day. Like for instance, I know what the compression should feel like on this when I pull that cord. I've mentioned on some of my other videos that these two-stroke, two-cycle engines need 3 things to run. That's what we're talking about right now, is two-cycle, two-stroke engines only. What I'm about to show you only applies to those. If you have valves in your engine, if it's a 4-cycle engine, this does not apply. It's 2-cycle stuff only. Needs 3 things to run. It needs adequate fuel supply. It needs sparking at the proper time, and it needs adequate compression. In a nutshell, what compression is where you have your cylinder and you have your piston. Your piston drives up and down inside that cylinder. Your carburetor injects a fuel-air mixture into that on top of your piston. Your piston drives that up to the top and it compresses that mixture really tight. The tighter that gets squeezed, the more compression there is there, the more volatile that mixture becomes. Then your spark plug fires that and sparks it, and it explodes on the top of your piston, driving your piston back down, and it does that 12,000 times a minute. If you don't have proper compression, it kind of just squeezes that mixture up in there. It's still kind of liquidy. And then your spark plug fires and it just kind of lights it on fire. It doesn't explode and drive that down like it should. That's it in a nutshell. That's what compression does. So without using a compression tester yet, I'm going to show you what the difference is between this just by pulling the cord so you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. This is the chainsaw. It's a steel MS 230. This piston cylinder, the engine on this is in excellent shape. I know it is. This one, not so much. I'm going to pull the cord on this one. I'm going to show you the difference between these two. Pop, pop, pop. That is awesome compression. Now look at this little pooling right here. Can you see the difference between those two? Now just quickly, we're going to hook up this compression tester so you can actually see how this actually works with a compression tester. It's not just by feel, we're actually going to see on a gauge now what the compression difference is. Okay, here's this little pooling right here. We just hook that compression tester up and we're going to pull that cord a few times to see what it comes up to. That compression comes up to about 70 psi of compression. An engine generally needs, a good rule of thumb is that it needs over 100 psi. So that is very low compression. Compression tester just proved it. Now we're going to check my little saw out here, my steel MS 230. Okay, let's see how this one performs. That compression right there is about 110. If you want one of those compression testers, like I said, go back to my description. I got a link on there to buy one. I'm going to show you an easier way how to check this right now, so you can actually see with your own eyes whether your piston cylinder is actually destroyed. Is it worth fixing or not? We're going to find out right now. So when a mechanic gets that on his bench, and he knows by pulling that cord or by checking the compression, if some mechanics do that, they probably do, and they know, okay, this has low compression. First thing most mechanics are going to do, and you should do this too, pull the spark plug out and get a little flashlight. What you want to do is shine that flashlight down the spark plug hole and see the top of the piston. You can see the top of the piston, and pull that rope till it's all the way at the bottom. The piston is all the way at the bottom. It's called bottom dead center. And then shine your flashlight in there and look around at the side of the cylinder. If you look through that spark plug hole at the side of the cylinder and you see any scratches at all that are going up and down, like this right here, that is a bad sign right there. Next thing we got to do is pull the muffler off. Everybody knows what the muffler is. It's right where the smoke comes out. Pull your muffler off so you can look through the exhaust port itself where the muffler was, right in there like this. You can see through that exhaust port, and you can clearly see the side of your piston now. Okay, I got a couple pistons here. I'm going to show you the difference between these two pistons. One's good, one's bad. Exhaust side of the piston right here. This is a good one. It's nice and shiny. The rings are free. You see how I can move those rings in and out like that? Those rings are what seals your compression from blowing past your piston. The rings are free. You know that those rings are making contact with the cylinder, providing a seal so the compression can't slip past. Here's one that's bad. Now this one right here, you can see that the rings are actually stuck. The piston is melted right here, so that it's actually melted over top of those rings a little bit, so the rings are stuck in. They can't come out anymore and seal against the cylinder. Now the compression is slipping right past the piston itself because those rings are stuck. That's why you have no compression with a scored cylinder and piston. This one right here was, the damage on this one was caused from straight gas, raw gas. The customer actually admitted he ran straight gas through it by accident. He had no mix oil, grabbed the wrong can, whatever. Now, I'm not going to mention Rick's name because that would be highly unprofessional and very rude. So I won't go there. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, that straight gas through there destroyed the piston, destroyed the cylinder, and no compression, thing can't run. Okay, I'll show you a clip right here of one that's actually inside where you're looking through that exhaust port. Look at this clip. Good piston, looks excellent. There's no scratches on it. Okay, check that one out. Excellent piston. Okay, here's another clip running that piston up and down with a completely destroyed piston. Look at this one. That piston is completely destroyed. So this is why we want to look at this first. This is why small engine mechanics look at the piston and cylinder first. It takes them 5 minutes to diagnose a problem where they know that no matter what they do to that saw, it's never going to run properly because the piston cylinder is destroyed. It has no compression or not enough compression to run. We just saved ourselves all kinds of money. Like I say, 5 minutes, phone the customer up and say, hey, this is not worth fixing anymore. Now, I understand, okay, this little pooling right here, it's a $99 chainsaw. There's no way you're gonna put a new piston and cylinder on this. There's no way that's cost effective. You just go buy a new saw. I understand there's some of you guys out there that have chainsaws that are worth over $1,000. Well, maybe in that case, it is worth putting a new piston and cylinder on. So that's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to check your engine before you go waste your time, money, have all this frustration. You're buying a new carburetor, you're buying a spark plug air filter, fuel filter. It's not going to run anyway. Super easy at least to check your cylinder. Take that spark plug out, look in there with a flashlight, see if there's any scratching or scoring on the side of that cylinder before you go further. Do it like a small engine mechanic does. I think you'll have good success doing that. Then you can decide whether you're going to buy it, just write it off, buy a new chainsaw, or whether it's actually worth it to put a new piston and cylinder on there. I hope I helped some of you guys out. Hit that thumbs up button if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until the next video, guys, Steve out.